junkies, how are you? I've been gone for how long? 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, that's probably not good for my YouTube channel, but what are you gonna do, right? Okay, so today I want to talk about our vibration is always manifesting. So what I want to talk about is, this is like personal experience. Obviously, you know, I always do a personal experience and what's happened to me in my life recently. And so I'm going to share a little story with you. Not for the fact that I'm going to claim victim, not for the fact that I'm going to say, oh, it's all their fault. I'm going to totally take personal responsibility for it, even though it's kind of tough. And at first you want to, like, you don't want to do it, you know, you just would rather be angry in the moment and like blame someone else, because it's like, that was a dick move. Why would you do that? That was such a dick move, right? But anyway, look at my pretty flowers from my beloved gardener. Isn't he the sweetest? Like, I have like 7 bouquets in the house. So beautiful. I love flowers. They make me so happy. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Okay, so when I was getting a divorce from my first husband, well, obviously that's the only divorce I've had, but when I was getting a divorce, I moved, you know what, let me just scratch that. Okay, so when I moved to live with my parents in the process of my divorce with my first husband, right, I was staying at my parents. And so obviously I had been married for 24 years and had never had like a real like career job, right? I was a mother. I stayed home with our 4 kids, and I was just, you know, a homemaker, and I would sew and do things like that. And I was always able to make like money here and there on the side, you know, sewing or doing little design projects and stuff like that. So that, I mean, you know, I made money there in that case, but for the most part, I didn't have like a 9-to-5 business corporate job or anything, okay? So when I moved to my parents in Florida, I think, you know, maybe some people kind of wanted to, you know, like employ me or say, here, you know, do this so you can make a little bit of money, because I had, like, I left with nothing, no, you know, obviously no child support, no alimony or anything like that. I just didn't want to have, I just wanted to cut all ties, right? And so I just thought, you know what, I'm a creative girl. I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that everything works out for the way that it's supposed to, and I know everything always works out for me. So I had a couple of people hire me to do like little design jobs, right? Well, one of them was a family member, and I was supposed to get paid $500, and, you know, I was just basically painting and kind of doing a little interior design work for them. Well, I had never did a proposal for them or anything like that. I just kind of considered it was like word of mouth, not word of mouth, but like your word is your bond kind of thing. And so I didn't think like, oh, you know, I mean, I felt like, well, it's good for it. Like, I've worked for all these number of people. I've done this for my family members. I've done this for this celebrity. I've done several jobs for celebrities, and, you know, do a proposal, and I always get the money that I, you know, bid for the project or the design job or anything, you know, or whatever. And so I didn't really think anything about it until something that happened last week occurred, and it helped me to realize that our vibration is always manifesting. If you don't think that your thoughts create your reality, like, you will know for sure, because it will surely manifest if it is a consistent thought process that you have of that frequency of the vibration that's going on within you. And so anyway, so I'm going to continue to explain my story. So I did this job, I finished it up and everything, and I was supposed to get $500 for this particular job, right? It was this smaller job, but it was still like, you know, anyway, you know, I ripped wallpaper down and painted and that kind of stuff, and gave my ideas about what I thought would look design efficient in the home and whatever. Well, I never got paid. Like, the girl totally stiffed me on the job, right? So then, come to find out, my brother actually compensates for the fact that this family member didn't pay me. And so he went and supposedly gave me the $250, which was only half of the job, to kind of like cover her ass. Do you know what I'm saying? But I found that out later on, and I found out many, many numerous things, later on. And anyway, it was just, things that were said when I was doing the design job, and it's like, really? You actually got the job for free and you're talking behind my back? Okay, whatever, dude. But anyway, it was like a total dick move on this girl's part, right? So I didn't think anything about it. Like, honestly, I was pissed as no end, but I was like, I'm not going to throw my brother under the bus. I'm not going to, blah, 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 whatever. So I go about my business. I later on move out. I move in with my husband. Obviously, we got married. I moved to Tampa. Like, I do like 4 more different jobs for like several celebrities, right? Never a problem. Got paid exactly what I was supposed to. Everything that I said that I was going to do, I did. They wrote me a check. Everything was hunky-dory, good, great, wonderful. So I was thinking, oh, that was just, maybe I just shouldn't work for family anymore. Maybe that's why, is that they feel like they don't need to pay me or something, or I don't know, I mean, I guess obviously I was having this vibration throughout and I didn't realize that I was doing it. And so, fast forward, like I've gotten all these other jobs, right? Not a big deal. I've gotten paid for them. So I didn't know, or I wasn't aware that I had this kind of like, maybe it was a sense of like resentment and anger built up because of what had happened to me with that job. It was just kind of like, I was pissy about it. And, but I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to let that bother me. So then fast forward to last week or whatever. And so I do a job for another family member and got stiffed out of $1,000. Well, $700. Like, I only got paid $300, which was supposed to be $1,000 job. And then, no, didn't get paid. So I can't begin to tell you how freaking angry I was, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I could, okay, maybe in my mind I would justify and say, oh, okay, I can see, I just wouldn't never do this for this family member again, or maybe I wouldn't ever work for that particular family member again. Like, it's just maybe bad business to mix business and pleasure, like family and business. I don't know, unless maybe there's some other way of doing it that's like professional or whatever. I don't know. I haven't figured that out. If you guys have the answer to that, won't you give me a ring up, right? But so I just was so angry. Like, I was like, that was the biggest dick move someone could ever do to me. Like, I'm freaking sweet as pie. I was rambling through my mind and thinking of all these things, and like how much I was resentful and angry, and I'm like, I can't believe this. This is like the second time a family member has screwed me out of a job that I did. It's the second time that a family member screwed me out of a job, actually the third time. And I'm just like, okay, so what's going on? So obviously, after I got over that mode of like screaming and blood curdling, like, wishing that person damnation, I mean, let's be honest. When you're angry, you say a lot of things and you feel a lot of things, because that is actually people don't want to look at it like source is helping you to get to those points. But if you don't ever feel those feelings or express those feelings of, the best thing to do is try to get from anger to try to work yourself generally to a better vibrational feeling, right? But so many times, like, this is what I think actually happened to me, you guys, is that so many times when something like that happens, we don't want to feel that. And so we're like, okay, so we practice law of attraction, and we don't want to have bad energy, and we don't want to attract that, right? So we're thinking, oh, the less I think about it, the more it'll go away, right? Which is true. It does deactivate those things. But if it continually happens, the same type of thing, if it continually happens in your life experience, that means that you have some like inner soul work to do, because obviously your vibration is creating the manifestation of that actual thing that's going on within you internally. Does that make any sense? Like, obviously, if I've been screwed 3 times by family members, there's something going on with me that I have a really bad negative vibrational energy going on with working for family and feeling like that's become my belief system, right? Is basically what it is like, oh, every time I've done something for family, I've been effed out of the job, right? I didn't get paid. And so then I'm thinking I'm carrying that around with me, and so therefore it manifests exactly the way that I believe it to be. Do you see what I'm saying? It's law of attraction. Now, because I've worked for these other celebrities, a couple of other celebrities, and done numerous jobs for them, I don't have that same vibration. Do you notice? Because I have a vibration that's really clear and good, and I believe like, oh, whatever I say that I'm worth, that's how much I'll get paid. And that's exactly what happens. It has happened every single time. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, last week is when, after that happened, I thought, okay, I've really got to get this. When you're picking up the stick, there's two sides to the stick. So if you pick up the side of the stick that you're saying, oh, I'm not going to think about this and I'm going to get rid of this, the more you're thinking about it, because you're thinking about not thinking about it. You know what I mean? So I'm like still trying to navigate through that, and I'm trying to create a new belief system, because that's what we have to do, you guys, is once we realize that something manifests and we have to take a look at it, like, it's totally okay, and don't feel bad at yourself, and don't feel like you got to call and apologize or repent because you cussed them from one end to the next or whatever. I mean, I never actually did that because I'm a Pisces, so I'm very, I go inwardly, which I'm trying to work that out, because maybe this is my outlet in the way that I'm healing, in the sense that I'm using the video and YouTube as a healing mechanism for me, because I still am not very, I'm not super extremely 100% comfortable still in my own skin, unless someone confronts me or says something to me, and yeah, I lose my cool or whatever. I will probably scream at them and say all kinds of mean, like hit them at the core kind of thing. But I'm trying not to do that, so I'm trying to figure out how to work through that on my own, and this is the only way that I know is my avenue through my channel, right? And plus, I think it's also an outlet to help inspire other people, because I know that you guys go through this kind of stuff. It might not be the similar situation where like but everything manifests through our vibration and what we're projecting out, even though we don't realize that we're doing it. You can bet that it's always going to manifest. Whatever your vibration is that you're carrying, you will always manifest it if it's an active thing, right? So I thought that it was pretty much dormant. I didn't realize, but that's what we have to do, is once we recognize what's going on here, and there's a continual same occurrence happening, we have to go in and not dig up all that crap and like go and tell them that they did this and you need to justify it and all that kind of stuff, because that's not really what this is about, and it's not a blame game, and it's not a victimization kind of role that we want to take. But we want to actually look within ourselves once again and take that personal responsibility and say, okay, Raquel, what belief system am I carrying with me that is not accurate, but it's manifesting in the way that I believe that it's accurate, correct? So basically I did a lot of journaling and stuff, because that's one of my best ways to do that, and focus wheels. I'm big on focus wheels, you guys. So what I did is actually recognize what it was that was causing me to have this disgruntled irritation and resentment with my family members, because it was only my family members that I've ever felt like, well, that's actually ever happened, right? And so I worked through that, and then I realized, you know what? It's not their responsibility to make me feel better, or to like say, oh, you know what, you need to pay me, because you know how many times like family members, like if they do business together or whatever, like if one person doesn't feel like, let me just say this, one of the main reasons that family members, it's like top on the fifth priority of like reasons that family members get disgruntled and actually hate each other about it, is about money, and about the exchange of the services rendered and the money exchange and all that kind of stuff. That's at least number 5 on the list of why families get separated and like disconnect from one another. It's because of that, a misunderstanding between money. And so I didn't want that to happen to me, because I love my family. And I don't want to ever like have this really negative attitude, like, oh, I mean, my family is so and so and they're all this kind of way, because that's not necessarily true. It's everything that I'm presenting and that I believe about them, and that's what's creating my reality. So what I had to do is go and recreate a new belief about me in exchange with my family. So if I ever choose to do that again, if I ever choose to, because I'm still not there yet. You know, I may not ever do work for family unless I treat them as if they're someone professional. You know what I mean? Like they're a professional client and not someone that's family, like, oh, I know they're good for it kind of thing. That would be number one, would be the one dynamic. The other dynamic would be I have to recreate a new belief, and that is that my family, their word is their bond, and if I do a job for them, I will be paid, and I will be paid accurately and for my services rendered. And you know, anyway, so I had to do this whole little dialogue, and I did this little thing on the focus wheel and everything, and so it's helped me, you know, and eventually I will recreate a new belief about this particular situation that happened, like doing work for other people and getting paid for it, and getting paid well, and what I'm worth, and my time, and all that. And so I don't know if this served you, but I hope that you can understand that, like, this inspires us to, like I said, once again, is not to take, you know, personal responsibility. Well, to take personal responsibility, but not to feel like we're a victimized person, that people are doing this to me. Poor Raquel. It's nice to say that and everything, but the truth of the matter is that we create our reality. So we need to take responsibility for it. So it's really not those family members. They were just representing exactly the way that I expected them to represent. Does that make sense? You create your reality. And so if you keep saying something, or you think something long enough, it's going to manifest in the exact same way. Prime example. This is just one little one, okay? Like anytime I go out and I'm meditating or whatever, after I meditate, like today I went to the Social Security office. Okay, so when I walk in there and everything, before I got there, I said, okay, I'm going to find a beautiful, perfect parking space. Everything's going to flow. Everything's going to be wonderful. It doesn't matter if there's going to be a lot of people there. I'm going to get through very, very quickly because I have a really good energy and I feel good, and everything always works out for me. So that was my intention that I set before I left the house. When I got there, I got the parking space right at the front door. That is no exaggeration. There was the handicap and a space right there. And I parked right there, walked inside. They do the whole check and everything, and I looked out to like scan the masses of like how many people were there, because you know, like they always say, like the DMV and the Social Security office and these government places usually are really, really full, and it's like a long line and it takes forever and whatever. But I was not putting that into my energy, right? I scan it after I go through like the thing, you know, because they're like, you need to take those off, and I'm going to throw your scissors away and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, everything, I got through and everything was fine. I took my number, and I looked out, and I kid you not, you guys, there was at least 150 people in that room. At least. We were all like sitting. There was no seats open. Barely, like there was 2 seats open, and I scooted in, and I didn't get up because I didn't want to lose my seat, you know. And I got out of there in 30 minutes. Like, in 30 minutes. And it was this quick, I mean, it took me probably less than 2 minutes to do all my things, you know, to have my Social Security card changed to my married name and everything. I know I'm really late on doing stuff like that, but I'm like, well, I guess I need to have all that changed because my license needs to be renewed and all. So, anyway, that is the manifestation of my vibrational energy, is that I expected everything to be wonderful and perfect and slow. I mean, fast moving and very, convenient and efficient. And that's exactly how it turned out. So that's just a little example, you know. And so anyway, I am so glad to be back. I hope you guys are having a lovely day, and I hope this served you. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao. Bye. I love you.